Alright, boys, so let's talk about this one. This is like a pretty interesting topic that I wanted to talk about for a long time. And I think it's actually quite interesting, you know, those are like small little things. Like I see so many people do the same mistakes still when I see them play Cypher. And those are like little things with his smoke that are like pretty fixable and are actually pretty easy. And you can use Cypher in such interesting ways that many people don't know about. And today I would just want to go over the basics that you can do with the smokes to just give you guys a little insight of you know, what Cypher is actually capable of. Because as I said, I still to this day, and obviously because the game just released like 2 weeks ago and people are still new to this game, but I want to show you guys like the basics that you can do with Cypher. And many people see Cypher just as like a defensive character and defensive agent that just, you know, holds down sides. And many people think that he doesn't actually have the kit to play aggressive, to play in an aggressive way, but that's actually not true, because you can, if you just play him smart and if you play it correct, you can actually play him pretty aggressive in certain ways. So obviously not like someone like Reyna or Phoenix, for example, but I mean, you can still play Cypher fairly aggressive with the smokes. And yeah, today I want to just show you exactly that and the way you can actually play him pretty aggressive. And yeah, I hope you enjoy the video, guys. First of all, let's talk about the easiest way to use his smokes, and that is obviously in a passive way, in a defensive way in which you lock down sides and just choke points. This is like the most common way for people that play Cypher, and this is the main way I see people use his smokes. And obviously there's nothing wrong with that. You should use him to play defensively. It is what Cypher is best at naturally, but yeah, I want to show you guys first of all the basics of defense smokes, and then we're gonna jump into the more aggressive smokes and some sneaky things that you can do with Cypher to actually use him in a pretty aggressive way. So yeah, but let's start first of all with the defense basics. And I want to show you in game what I mean exactly. So let's take Ascent, for example, just to go over the basics. Like, there's not much we can talk about. Let's take a map for Ascent, for example, A side. Like the basic defense smokes would be like this, here, or even here. And obviously, if you have someone pushing, if they push from A long, you can just activate this one. If they push from A short, you just activate this one, or you have it placed here and you activate this one to just hold off their pushes, right? So let's say you get flanked from both A short and A long. You know that they push. You have the option to use both of these, reposition yourself, wait for your teammates to come to you, and just try to defend the site and just delay their push, basically, right? His smokes are basically used to delay pushes in a way. So this is like the pretty basic stuff. We can have the same over here on mid, for example, where we would put one smoke right around here and one smoke right around here, you know. And if you get pushed on mid, you can easily just delay that by detonating this, and once this fades, you can just go ahead and detonate this one, which leaves you enough time to push back to B side essentially and try to defend from there. But this is basic stuff, you know. Same goes for a B main, for example, this one. And this is like the pretty basic stuff that I'm talking about. This is the main way Cypher is meant to be used, like in terms of using his smokes, right? This is pretty basic stuff. This is not much I can teach you guys on. So we got the smokes on defense pretty much covered, right? Because like there's not anything you can do wrong on with him playing defensively with the smokes, because like all you have to do is again just place these in choke points, and if they push, you just have to detonate these and delay the pushes. So the defense is pretty much covered. Now the second interesting thing you can do with Cypher, and I also just see a few people do that, and those are probably people who main Cypher for a long time, and that is using one-way smokes. And one-way smokes are like a nice way to play Cypher a bit more aggressive on defense side, rather than just playing him completely passive and just wait for the people to push in. You can use his one-way smokes, for example, to play pretty aggressive, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I mean by that. So let's take A side, for example, on Ascent again. And if you want to play aggressive and don't want to just wait for the enemies to come but take fights, you can actually just stay over here and just aim for that. Throw your smoke up on there. And once they push, and if you, let's say you defend from here, for example, and once the enemy push, you can just activate this one, play from here, and you have like a perfect one-way smoke. You see, you will see their feet, but they probably won't see yours. Like most likely, they won't even notice where you are. This is like a nice way to play Cypher a bit more aggressive. You know, I know many people like to just play him completely defensive, but you can like pretty easily go for like aggressive peaks like this one, where you don't even take a huge risk, because at the end of the day, this is like a pretty nice one-way. Which, let's see that from the enemy perspective. Let's say you stand here, you know, you are here, you're pushing, and Cypher activates this one. Like, you don't have any vision over there, right? Over this one. So this is like pretty strong smoke that you can use. And, you know, same thing can be done from like other places. This is like the window area on A, and you can set up a one-way smoke on top of this one as well. So if you have enemies pushing from like you know, the short area, you can detonate this one to play a bit more aggressive, you know. This one gives you like a slight peek and you can take fights, rather than going for the passive one, which would be this, and you just getting nothing and just letting them push through, you know. This is pretty defensive. This one is pretty aggressive, you know, as you can get picks if they walk through here. Same goes for B, for example. One-way smokes on B allow you to just get a bit more aggressive rather than just waiting for them and to delay their push. You see, if they push B main, for example, all you need to do is just activate both of these, and you have a perfect one-way smoke again. Instead of like doing the passive one, which just delays their push, and you will get nothing out of this one other than just delaying their push. So as you can see, like, even on defense, there's like a nice way in between playing defensive and aggressive with him. And this is like using his one-way smokes. His one-way smokes allow you to play pretty aggressive actually, while still be pretty defensive, if you know what I mean. Like, you don't have to take a huge risk playing aggressive with Cypher on defense, since you can use his one-way smokes to your own advantage. And this is like such a huge thing, and I don't see many people do this. Like, obviously there are people out there, especially people who main Cypher, that will use his one-way smokes, but I'm talking about like the whole lot of Cypher plays. Like, there's like so many ways in which you can get creative as Cypher and play a bit more aggressive rather than just staying back there and waiting for them to push. So Cypher in general is like a pretty versatile player. Like, obviously his main strength is on defense, but he can be used to play pretty aggressively. And for the last part, I want to show you guys exactly on what do you call it, on offense, how aggressive you can play Cypher on offense actually. Like, compared to Phoenix or Reyna, for example, he can't be played as aggressive, but he can still go like pretty aggressive, and I want to show you that in a second. So let's say you want to push mid, for example. You don't want to send offense side, you want to push mid, and you want to go for the mid fight right over here. And what you can do just to get a bit more freedom on mid fights is just place one trap over here and detonate this one and just go for the mid fight. Because if you don't have this set up and you just go for the mid fight without that here being a trap, you are just exposed to the short A area. So his traps can be used so aggressive. Like, just put this over there, activate this one, and you have like a free push over here. All you have to do is to take the fight on mid, but you have like 10 seconds in which the short player can't really fight you. So this is like a good example of what I exactly mean by you know, just taking the fight in mid and blocking off the short area, for example. And the same thing can be done on split, for example. Let's say you want to push A. Obviously you have to go for the peek here first, because if the enemy peeks you can't just swing out here for free. But if no one is peeking here and you want to push heaven, for example, all you need to do is just place this trap over here. This A area is completely blocked off, and you can just push heaven for free, and all you have to do is just push the heaven fight. And if you just want to take a bit more space up in heaven, all you can do is, you know, you push this, for example, trap this here off. And if you want to get a bit more space on here, you can place trap on here. And you can just fight around this trap if you wanted to. So this is like a good example as well on how you can use Cypher in a bit more aggressive way. You don't need a Phoenix or Reyna or anything to get an entry with Cypher. Like, you can do it by yourself perfectly fine. Obviously, you should never forget to place your traps on the map before you go aggressive, because your traps are just used to block off flanks. But you could just press this one, smoke it off here, and push heaven, for example. Same thing can be done on like the B push. Let's say you don't have a Sage or Brimstone or anything to block off the right side. If you want to push out B, you can use Cypher to go in first and use the smokes. And I show you exactly what I mean. Like, one smoke over here and the one smoke back. You can use both of these, push out the left side, and heaven is completely blocked off. Like, the right side is completely blocked off, and you just have a free push. All you have to worry about is this area and this area. So let me show you again. Let's say you want to push B. You just run up here, place one trap over there. Wait, this one is a bit bad. Place one trap deep onto there and one over here. You should have two perfectly traps that cover up the whole right side. So this is like another way in which you can use Cypher to play pretty aggressive. And the mid area works pretty well for Cypher as well, because let's say you want to push to A heaven, for example, from mid, and you're fighting this, and you want to push into the rope room. All you have to do is just place one trap over here, activate it, this is blocked off, and you can just go aggressive into the rope room area. Same thing can be done if you want to push B and block off A. So let's say you are fighting here, and the person playing here is backing off. All you have to do is just throw your cage, block off this, and just push into a B heaven. So yeah, and actually once you're in B heaven, you can also just pop one over here, block off this area, and just push down onto side. So I think you get the gist of what I mean. Like, Cypher, obviously he's not a Phoenix or Reyna or anything like that, but he can be played pretty aggressive. And if you have no one who, wants to play the entry, you can play the entry with Cypher on the offense as well. Like, he's not the best, but he can do it. This is what I mean. Like, he can do it, and he has like a potential to be used in a good way on offense. So this is like basically what I talk about when I say people don't use his smokes to his max potential, And he has like so many ways in which he can block off vision for the enemies and play aggressive by doing that. And not many people use his potential. So this is what I mean when I talk about playing Cypher in an aggressive way. And for the last part, I want to talk about his smokes being used as a cover-up for his traps. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So let's say you're playing offense on Haven, for example, and you push C side and you take C side. You kill the people defending C side and you want to play after plant. And what you want to do, if you have like one trap left, for example, and you want to try to block off the retake positions, all you can do to cover your trap is to put one trap over here, activate the trap, and place the tripwire in between, the trap. So the enemies won't see the trap. Obviously, if they listen, they get a sound cue and they can just, figure out themselves that you just place the trap there. But if you place this trap without covering it up, it is pretty easy for the people who want to retake from here to destroy it, because they will obviously see it, because it doesn't take people a long time to rotate from B over to C, for example. If you planted the bomb on C and the defenders from B want to rotate over to C, they most likely will stand around this area. And if you just walk up on here and place the trap, they will obviously see it. So what I always do when I have a trap left over and a smoke, what I do is I cover up my tripwire positioning with this. I place my smoke and I detonate it, and I place trap in between this one. This makes it a bit less obvious, and most of the time it even works. Like, people won't notice this tripwires as much as if I would do them without the smoke. So same can be done honestly if you play defense, for example. Let's say you get pushed from C long and erased or Sova destroyed your tripwire over here, and you are exposed. People are pushing C long. You can't just put the trap on here. They will obviously see it and instantly shoot it. So what you can do, if you still have a smoke left and they push, you will put a smoke in, which delays their push anyways. And once you activate the smoke, you'll place trap in between the smoke. This makes it a bit less obvious, rather than just placing it without any coverage. So yeah, this is what I mean by saying that you can use his smokes also to cover up his tripwires, you know, just use his smokes to make his tripwires better. So yeah, this is like the fourth option that you can use his smokes for, and I think this is like covering pretty much everything you can do with the smokes. Obviously I could go into detail with like every option. I could go into detail of playing him defensively with the smokes, playing offensive with the smokes, but this is just like a basic thing that I'm talking about, just the basics of playing him in each way. And yeah, I hope again guys that this really helps you. Obviously always this is just my take on things and my take on how I see things. I'm not like the most insane Cypher player out there. Like, I'm pretty decent, but there are probably people that are playing better with him than I do. So always take into account this is just my opinion, and I hope that I can help you guys with this one. And if you have anything to add, always feel free to let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you like the video guys, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to this channel. I will see you guys on the next one.